A third piece of wisdom we can learn from Thérèse is how to love those around us, especially those who are most difficult. For Thérèse, loving even the most difficult people around her and treating them with kindness and a smile was a sacred duty of utmost importance. There were a few nuns in the convent who caused Thérèse emotional pain, annoyance, or both from time to time. She was guided by the advice of St Therese of Avila, however, who said,
"Consider yourself to be the servant of all others, and see in each of them our Lord Jesus Christ."
Nevertheless, she wrote about one of the nuns in particular, named Sister Teresa of St Augustine, who had, quote, the ability to displease her in everything. Despite her great dislike of this nun, Thérèse forced herself to say nothing disagreeable to her, but to always greet her with a smile, to sit near her during free time, and to do many kind favors for her. She sought Jesus hidden in the depths of her soul. This cost Thérèse greatly, but she succeeded remarkably. As the story goes, this particular nun had no idea of Thérèse's dislike for her, even after reading about herself in Thérèse's autobiography. Because of the many smiles and favors, she thought she had been one of Thérèse's favorites. It wasn't until a month before this nun's death that she found out she had been the one that Thérèse was so challenged to love. Despite her embarrassment, she, quote, cast her burden into the fire of merciful love. Thérèse had often told her that she was not to fear purgatory. Oftentimes, we come across difficult people in the course of performing our ministry for the church. Sometimes our very work environments have one or a few people who are just very difficult to get along with. Can you think of any Sister Teresa of St. Augustine's in your life? Do you seek to find and love the Jesus hidden in the depths of their hearts? How can you treat them better by following the example of St. Therese? Perhaps you're thinking to yourself, being this kind to certain people is impractical. How will they ever change? St. Therese was very careful with this kind of thinking. Who are we to correct others while the beam still remains in our own eye? If Jesus has shown such mercy in loving me in my ugliness, must I not show the same mercy in loving this person I've judged to be worse than myself? Nevertheless, she made a clear exception to her rule of silence regarding the faults of others when she was entrusted with the formation of the newer novices. Having been given that responsibility, quote, she never overlooked anything in the novices which needed correction, unquote. She carried out this sacred duty with great discretion for the needs of each particular soul, and was careful not to satisfy herself in correcting them, but to seek the best for the persons in her charge. Through our ministry, God often entrusts us with the sacred duty of correcting others. Each of us must be mindful of the times and situations in which it is our duty, and the times that it is not. How do we discern whether we are called to correct the behavior of another? How can we be sure to do so for their benefit and not just for our own? This is yet one more topic which I am eager to hear your thoughts on in the forum below. Finally, I want to leave you with some advice from Thérèse on how to grow in love for those around us.
When I want to increase in myself my love of neighbor, especially when the devil tries to put before the eyes of my soul the faults of this or that sister who is less appealing to me, I hasten to seek out her virtues, her good desires. I tell myself that if I have seen her fall one time, she may well have undergone a great many victories that she hides through her humility, and that even what appears as a fault to me could very well be an act of virtue because of the intention. Ah, I understand now that perfect charity consists of enduring the faults of others, of not being at all astonished of their weaknesses, of being edified by the smallest acts of virtue which one sees them practice.
Calling to mind those most challenging persons in your life and ministry, how can Therese's advice change your perspective and improve the way you treat them? Let us be inspired by Thérèse to greater love for the most difficult around us. God bless you. I look forward to conversing with you all in the forums.